Hi friends, one of my subscribers who are learning about life through Jyotish asked me this question, um, whether I can do a video related to Charlie Kirk, who died 2 days ago in US, Utah, and he's talking about the most effective point. So I just had a look, I said, that could be interesting. So I had a look. So I thought, okay, there's something to learn there. So I said, okay, let me do a video just for learning purposes. This is what I'm going to do. I think most people, okay, let's see, Charlie Kirk is this gentleman here. He was born in 1993 and died he's 31 years old, and he was shot. So that's what happened to him. And he's a public speaker. He's a conservative activist. He has a lot of his opinions about things. Quite confident of what he's doing, and he has a very good chart, and it teaches. He started, very young age. His organization called Turning Point USA. You can get all that information, and that's what it is. And Turning Point USA. That's his organization, and he's married and he has 3 children or 2 children. He has died on that date. Occupation is political activist, author, media personality. He has TV and radios once. Like that. Yeah, he has 2 children, right? So this is this gentleman here. Actually, they caught the person who shot him. Now, this is the same gentleman here. So what I did was trying to figure out his chart, looking at him and this kind of personality, it is quite clear that he should be Sagittarius. This kind of smart person, like that, who is like acting like a guru pretty much, teaching people, going by university schools and like that, and teaching his understanding of what conservative values are and that kind of stuff, right? So that's what he did. So what I did was I did his chart. Of course, I'm so grateful for my seer helping me with the most effective point. That's the most important thing. One thing I want to say is that people who are not interested in learning Jyotish and understanding deeper operations of life, you don't need to watch this. You will be just wasting your time. So please don't watch it, because if you're only interested in learning how the life works in a deeper meaning, deeper way, or the highest level of operation, then of course you have to do a lot of learning to follow me in the first place. That's the only thing. So I wouldn't, if you're not interested in understanding why things happen the way they are, then you don't need to watch this, okay? Because I'm not doing this for money purposes or anything like that. I'm doing this to teach people how life works. That's all, nothing else, right? So when I do his chart, he was born on October 14th, 1993. I think it was, October 14th, 1993, right? And then where he was born is Arlington Heights, Illinois. Looking at this chart, right? Of course, this chart has a lot of good things. So that is how first thing we can say with this chart is that this one here, these three planets in the house of friends, income, and influence. There are three great planets in there. Of course, Jupiter is in infancy. This is his Lagna Lord. This is his Lagna Lord. Like this is the Lord of this sign is Jupiter at 0.30. Like as any planet goes in 0 to 30 degrees. So this is, we call it infancy, all right? So this is at infancy, but the other two, the Mars and Mercury, are in real good strength here. So this is, and the other one is on here, what he does is communications. This is the third house, where communications, the owner of that house is Saturn, and Saturn is in its own house, right? So that is a very powerful thing. So that's what he does is pretty much go by places and public engagement, talk on the radio and teaching people his version of, his understanding of conservative values or whatever that was, right? So that is what it is. I mean, I'm not following him personally, so, I don't really have time to do that. So this is whatever he's teaching is this. But if you look at this one also, this is powerful. Even though it's powerful, this is also in very infancy. I told you any planet will be from 0 to 30 degrees. So if you look at Saturn here, it's 002. It's just born a child, right? It's quite in infancy. So only thing is that if you look at this here, Jupiter can see the fifth house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He sees this Saturn closely. You can see this is 0.30 and this is 0.2. So very early age, he have this particular blessing. The Jupiter is the one who teaches you. Jupiter is the teacher, right? Jupiter is the teacher of life. So Jupiter signifies teacher. And then the teacher is here aspecting the communications planet. It's its own house. So that's one of the big positives. And also he has Mars and Mercury here. This is how he has very influential people in his life as friends, including President Trump. Right? So this is the blessing he brought to this life, gave him all those influential people. Right? And why he's doing communications this is the communication part. And what are his communications? His values, whatever that it is. Only now, don't misunderstand me by this. Whenever planet is in infancy, right? When a planet is in infancy, they are they will have high opinions, but they are not completely coming into full maturity. That is the only issue, right? That they think like actually anyone who knows it all will be knowing, always think that I don't know nothing at all. Because your confidence is completely going away because there's so much more to learn. Every day we learn in life. So there's so much more to learn. More you learn, you understand how idiotic you were before. So when someone is saying, no, this is how it should be, this is how life should be, and like that, with permanent understanding, saying that this is all, nothing else, like that, those people represents this infancy situation. If you look at it here, I was using Gemini, like what I was asking, what's the infancy means in here, right? Infancy means slow growth in wisdom. The native's wisdom and philosophical clarity may be immature at a young age, right? They may not have the strong sense of purpose or clear belief system until they mature and gain life experience. This is related to his Jupiter, his teaching, his teacher, his Lagna Lord, right? His main planet, right? So that's self. So what happens in that when it comes the zero level, it's clearly there's a lot more to learn in life, because more mature you get, more reserved person you become, more then you realize what it is. And then even Saturn is in infancy. If you look at Saturn in infancy, also give you this, like, particularly karmic burdens. You know, karma is what you do, what you reap, and whatever karma we brought to this life is what we are going to enjoy or pay. That is how life works. You know, the karma that he brought to this life, you can say that it's here. Saturn's presence can indicate early karmic burdens or lessons that the person is not yet equipped to handle. Right? Because he's quite young. I mean, he's 31 years old, right? I mean, if we had these planets much stronger, yes, of course, 31 years is enough for you to, form whatever opinions that you want to form. Like, we have heard when we were small, if you have a pot full of water, it doesn't shake, right? Because the water is full in there. When the water is not completely full, when you shake it, you hear the water shaking so hard in there. So that is what happened when they are not fully mature. Particularly when you come with these two planets, and in infancy situation, that is what happens. So if anyone believes that, whatever he teaches you is the gospel and nothing else, then of course there is a problem. So now, of course, he passed already. Now pretty much he knows, okay, this is what really happened to him. Because he did not understand. You have to be God to understand everything in life, Because only God can see everything on all perspectives. Because if I can say, my perspective of everything is, then I am the God, right? It is not working like that at all. It works because our knowledge is quite limited. Our understanding of life is quite limited. So if someone says, this is everything there has to be in this world to learn, that is not the truth. I'm not criticizing him personally at all, Please don't understand. I'm saying that what is in his chart. What is in his chart is like that. Though even here, weaknesses in significations, all the whatever these planets represents, they are being operated like an infant. That's what happened. You are not understanding completely, experience, weakness, or immaturity, requiring significant effort to build and mature over time. As the time go by, you learn life, that's what every day we do, that's how the learning comes. This is the issue that he has. He has a lot of following, he has a lot of friends, followers, and then this is his employment house, right? So in his employment house also very good planets are there, like, okay, Venus is there, and a sun is there. Venus is friends and income, and this is his employment, his job, right? So that is how he has a lot of followers. I'm sure there are a lot of women followers also, like that. And then the sun is the government. Also sun represents authority and all that. So he has the blessings of government figures, for a person to get that kind of a just after death President Trump to, lower the flags of USA and that kind of a thing, to a person like this for friendship with the president. This is the friendships here, and then the government is backing him clearly, that's there. Only this red one here, moon, this is some obstacles in his life. His he could be very sensitive person, particularly, he may misunderstood his mother. He may have some sensitivities, he may not agree with someone else like easily that way, because he feels, okay, this is what I say is the right thing, and then he will have obstacles in his job, So this is what is causing that trouble here. So this one is not that great. So that is the only thing, and this is good. So his employment and his turning point USA did so well when he started with a very young age of, I think it's 15 or something like that. I mean, I can see exactly timing on here. I'm not doing all of that because it's going to take so long to do this. And then this one here, this is a house of conflicts. House of conflicts here. And when the Ketu is in house of conflicts, Ketu is karma that you brought to this life. When Ketu is in the house of conflicts, life has a lot of conflicts. Also could have some health issues also. Life has a lot of conflicts. And also inflammatory situations. So he could argue with somebody, until he tried to prove himself completely, and argue, and, he will not see somebody else's perspective because of this immaturity that comes through these two planets here, right? So that is what happened in his life. Of course, he has this one over here. I talk about this. This is the communication planet. And his initiatives and communications are not necessarily born out of complete maturity. That's what it is, right? And then his Lagna Lord is not fully mature. It doesn't come from fully matured situation either, but many teachers, lecturers come into this particular sign, a lot of the advisors, teachers, lecturers, and who are pretty much, handsome people, tall and handsome people come to this sign. So this is not that great. He had some lack of understanding of life because he needed to learn more about life. That's if he has ever had a chance to understand his own chart, then, he would have had some amount of learning out of it. And also he's running the periods he's running, Jupiter is his main lord, and Saturn, which is these two, right, running this period. I mean, he was doing quite well, and then the Mercury is job and long-term partners, right? He was running that period. Only thing what we need to understand is Saturn signifies longevity in life, If the Saturn is good in your chart, there is a chance that you would live long. Now, in this case, Saturn is weak. It's in own house, so he had a medium life, which is like 39. Under 39 in the first place. So he stayed 31, 29. Sometimes people go before 29. So in this case, he was 31, right? So what happens is, I want to talk about people think you can see your death in your own chart. No, death is not a bad thing. Death signifies endings of this particular lifetime. It doesn't end the cycle of lifetimes, So whatever he comes to do to this world, to teach whatever things that he was teaching, he finished his job and he's gone. That's all. So death is not a bad thing for him. Death is bad thing for his wife, or if he had bigger children, of course, the elder child would be showing up his death in their charts. Because particularly in this case, of course, he has very young children, so it will be his wife is where now she has to pick up from here and go forward. So that is how it shows from his wife's chart. But it's interesting to see what is happening in terms of, because Peter was asking me about most effective point, right? What are the transits, what karma lessons in this Kirk's chart. Now, if I look at the transits, I look at the transits for the September 10th when he passed, when he got shot, right? But he got shot about 12 o'clock, but I had to put this time to get in this program. I'm trying to get in this program, I'm trying to get the natal chart. These are the positions when he was born. This is what he brought to this life. You know, he finished his life, whatever he wanted to achieve, and he achieved that, and then he's gone. But this is what happening on that particular day in terms of, because these planets keep moving. These are called transit planets, right? If you look at it here, you can clearly see this Saturn here at 5.35, 5.05, and look at this transit here. Saturn aspect Venus 92, Saturn going in here, aspect to Venus is 4.43, right? That shows Saturn is the longevity planet, right? Venus is his job, his friends, you know, where he was doing all these teachings, and also higher education, one. And also conflicts here. Venus owns this house also, so conflicts also. On that day you can see that he was moving. This is not a bad transit as such. This is clearly saying, okay, he's moving on that day. But how he moved on that day is by gunshots. So this is what the most effective point is all about. Most effective point on that day for him is gone up to almost, you know, like very close to less than 1 degree, you know, that's what it is. So if you look at it on that day, Rahu and Ketu is 2408, and his most effective point is 23.50, right? So when it's like this self, Ketu aspect first house and the fifth house. Fifth house is to do with education, higher education stuff. That's where he was in a university, right? So that clearly shows that. And this is his good fortune house. It's not very good that way for him to be there. And then his first house is self. That's his life. So you can see that. But this is pretty much showing, you know, like violent death to a life, right? So that's what it's showing. And also you can see, if you look at if you are understanding this deeply, you can see this, that morning, moon, which is the planet in charge of death, the 8th lord, right? Moon was aspecting his Jupiter. Jupiter is self. And on that morning, like if you, this is not going to line up. If you change this time to, let's say, like 10 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what time this thing began, right? You can see moon aspect sun, that Jupiter 61%. That means, percentage you don't have to worry about. Meaning that planet of death is aspecting self that day. Also, this is bad. That also showing that. Also, this shows, okay, he's, once in this world only you get suffering. And when you die and go, you are an angel, and you don't worry about anything. So that is what happens. And then also Venus was going in the 8th house of death also. That's a bad one. And also this one also just past the most effective point. That is a negative one also. This is quite a bit of negative stuff right here on that particular date. That shows up, but if we didn't know that he was going to die on that day, we couldn't have said that from this alone. This alone, we couldn't have said that at all, whether he is facing the risk. Only other thing I want to show is that these two, whenever the Rahu Ketu goes stationary, when I say go stationary, let's say I'm just putting August, like this is Rahu Ketu, how it's going. You can see it is at 24:18, 24:19, 24:20, 21:22. It's pretty much in the same place. Whenever like this, if you are facing a transit like this, that wobbling, and it's for a long term, a lot of severe, hard issues happens. You have to be extremely careful whenever like these kind of a transits are running. You never take any chances. You should take precautions. He was quite open and talking to people, and then anybody could have. He wasn't taking any precautions, or because he didn't have any understanding. Whenever this goes stationary, and then it's affecting you. Okay, let me show you. This is 24. Even on what date? This was 10th. You can see this is 24:06, 08. And this is 24:18. So long, pretty much a 1 month, still not moving. Pretty much in one place. When it's like this, it is extremely tough. You should not take no undue risk at all. Bad things can happen to you. That is so clear in life. This is what we need to understand in life. Now, if we have to see that there was any clue of him going, it would be in his wife's chart. So what I did was actually, thanks to my seer, I managed to do that one. If you look at her chart, Erika is running long-term partners, because this is running Saturn also. That is longevity planet as well, and it's in the long-term partners house for her. And she's Gemini. She became I think Miss Nevada or something like that. She won the beauty queen contest and all that. That shows up. And also she's a businesswoman. She has her own business, and that's clearly here, right? But if you look at her transits on that day, on the September 10th, if we put it like, I think he died like 12:29 p.m. Utah time. You can see this here. It's very clearly something to do with communication, something to do with her marriage, right? And her friends, right? Income and those kind of stuff, right? Ketu was on, you can see Ketu is on 24:08, whereas her most effective point is 23.58. It's very, very close. It's like few points away. So this is a significantly negative period for her, because this was wobbling, like coming so slow, this trouble that she was going for, and you can see that her husband, significator for husband also in the house of conflicts. So whatever he is doing, he gets, that's how, she meant to marry him. Of course, she is 5 years older, but they are meant to be partners like that. But like when the lifetime comes, it's go, because always the death is shown in your loved one's chart, meaning somebody who is going to take over from you. In this case, it will be wife. Like if someone is like get old and then have elder children, then the eldest child will have, or the child that who's going to take care of the family will have the death in their chart. So that's how you can see death of a person, like that. Here that you can see she was getting some bad news on that day based on this one here. So this, and also she was running Ketu as the third level, which shows endings, right? That is the thing. And Ketu had when her birth chart had an aspect on the marriage also. So, and also her marriage partner is in the house of losses also here. If you want to learn these things deeply, this is in house of losses. So this says something about, one day your husband can pass before you. So that is showing that there. That is, that she knew beforehand, before she come to this life in the first place. So that is how life works, this is life at the highest level. This is how the law of karma works. This is how all the divine forces are working. So this great science is given to us for us to learn about life. What's there to learn about life is karma. You should not hurt other people. You should not, no matter what, you're not God. You cannot make final conclusions on life, So the thing is that you have to help others as much as you can. Opportunities are shown on your life to help others, and do your best in life. Do whatever you are doing, do your best. That is what this teaches you. Then you will not collect new karma, and then for future to pay in the future. Of course you do good things, and of course he has done some really good stuff in prior lives, so he carries some really good karma, for him to get to know President of the United States and then have, pretty much lowering your flags of United States for a person. Not even part of the government, but that friendship and things like that, these are extremely good karma, And then, of course, he was job is related to government also. He had a lot of influence over the government. But he was sensitive person. That's clear. He was quite sensitive, and he can get hurt easily, even though he may not show it, or he might fight all the way because of this here. So that is how life works. So this is how the most effective point of him, also more of his wife, is what affected, show his death, his passing. Okay, and he's, I'm pretty sure he's quite fine, and the other thing is that I'm sure he is completely forgiving the person who shot him. There is no anger when you pass, because you meant to go in this time. It's that the person who shot him is the medium used. So it's not necessarily, of course, people who are living here, we don't understand a life at a deeper level. So we get angry with the person, who want to do everything. If he didn't deserve that kind of a death, he wouldn't have had that kind of a death. This is how that person was influenced to do this on that day, with all the transits matching. Yeah. I hope there's something you learn here. I didn't plan to do this video, but even though I saw these stories all the time, because Peter asked me this, so I decided to do this. If you have questions, you can comment. I'm not looking for subscribers or anything like that. My whole need is to teach people how life works in a deeper sense. All things can be explained in life. Okay. All right. Thanks. All the best. Thank you.